If you came here to learn about Bitcoin, well then you came to the right place. In all seriousness, guys, I understand that a lot of people still don't understand what Bitcoin is, why it's valuable, and what it actually does. So that's why I made this video, to just give you a couple of analogies so that hopefully you can take with it what you will and decide what you personally think about Bitcoin. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. We're a small channel right now, but I'd really like to grow this community larger. So please consider subscribing and smash that like button for me. Up, skip up, up, skip up. How do I look? Okay. Okay, guys, here's the first scenario. Imagine this. Basically, you've got one big room, right? This is a giant room. Now you've got 3 different tables in the room. You got table number 1, table number 2, and table numero tres. 3, 2, right? Okay. In the first table, you throw all the cash in the world on this table, right? Table number 2, you put all the gold in the world on table number 2. Table number 3, you put all of the world's Bitcoin. So Bitcoin. Now why is that so important? Well, cash, as we know, gets printed and printed and printed. As soon as the government has the ability to control your money, and they control the inflow and outflow, and they actually control the currency itself, they have the ability to print whenever they need to, basically at any time of recession. You know, they tend to print more money. So that's number 1. So this supply never ends. Supply never ends. So this just goes up and up over time, which causes what we call inflation. Inflation. Okay, number 2 is gold. Now this supply is not tainted nearly as often as cash is. So gold generally appreciates in value over time. So this goes up in value. So we can call that it deflates with respect to the US dollar. So deflation is what we're looking for. Deflation equates to appreciation, which is very good. So gold, we know the supply doesn't really change that much because we can mine gold as much as we want to, but it never changes all that much, you know, so especially with respect to the US dollar. That being said, we could always find gold on an asteroid. You know, who knows what Elon Musk is going to do next, so don't hold me to it. Now Bitcoin, here's where Bitcoin differs from everything else in the entire world. It is the most scarce asset in the world because of this one reason. There is 21 million Bitcoin in the world, and that is it. There will never be another Bitcoin after that. There will never be 21 million in 1, 21 million in 2. This market share will never be diluted. So if you've got one big room, imagine you're standing in this room. Boom, that's you, that's me. We're standing together, we're having a good old time. We watch over time, 100 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years go by. We're watching these all fill up. This is the cash, you know, this is the supply worldwide, okay? So we see, you know, every 10 years, every 20 years, every time of crises, we see this supply go up. We see this supply go up steadily over time. You know, I can't really say what will happen with gold, but generally it appreciates. The gold share in the world, we can justifiably say, will not be diluted heavily at any specific time in the future, and we can tell that by the past, right? So that's why gold has value. Bitcoin, there will never be any more Bitcoin than 21 million, that's it. So the more people that like Bitcoin, the more people that see it as a store of value, which is being more heavily, you know, considered in the world than ever before, well, then that's why Bitcoin is so amazing, because not only that, it works on an exponential function. So let's say you got a graph over here. You got your X and your Y, X and your Y, okay? The more you buy, the higher it goes quicker. That's an exponential function. It's not very complicated, but essentially, let's say it's at 30,000 here. I'm not predicting the future. I personally am bullish, extremely bullish on Bitcoin, but right now it's at 32,000. Okay, so here could be 400,000. All depending upon whether people generally adopt it as a store of value. You see more and more companies buying into Bitcoin, putting their balance sheet into Bitcoin every single day. Okay, there's analogy number 1. That's analogy number 1. Okay guys, looks like we're doing all right on time, but I'm going to try to make this video a little bit quicker. So I'm sorry if I'm talking fast, but I want to get it done quick so you guys aren't spending all night on this video. Okay, so the number 2, what makes money money? What makes money valuable and what makes gold valuable? Think about those questions. All money is a piece of paper. All gold is an element. It's a mineral and it just sits there. It's a gold bar. Why is that worth money? Why don't we just trade technology? These 5 characteristics that I've labeled on the board right here are what gives money its value. Okay, let's look at them one by one. Number 1 is portability. It has to be portable. Number 2, it has to be durable. Number 3, it has to be recognizable. Number 4, it has to be divisible. And number 5, and most importantly, it has to be scarce. So what does this tell us about Bitcoin? Well, with respect to money, so in comparison to money, it's more portable. We already have cards. You know, Bitcoin is online. It's like cloud storage. You got your money on the cloud the entire time. You're not carrying money around in your pocket. So number 2 has to be durable. Well, it's much more durable than money. You can rip money in half. You can't rip a Bitcoin. Number 3 has to be recognizable. $33,000, $32,000 for one Bitcoin. I think that is quite recognizable, and it's gotten into everyone's minds in 2021. I don't know if it's just me, but all I can think about is Bitcoin. So number 4 has to be divisible. Oh, it's so much more divisible than a dollar. What can you do? Break a dollar into 100 pieces and get 100 pennies? No, you cannot. You cannot do that. But Bitcoin has got a 1, and then it's got 8 zeros behind it. Each one of these is called Satoshis. So if you got 1 right here, that'd be 1 Satoshi, basically is what I'm saying. So looking at all of this, and then number 5, we go on to number 5, it has to be scarce. And this is probably the most critical of all, because what it boils down to is that the moment a government has control of the money, where they can dilute market share anytime they want to, essentially, or anytime they feel that they need to, well, it kind of screws everyone. You can see what happens to assets during those times. Assets usually skyrocket. You can see what happens to other, even things that you buy that aren't going to make you money over time. Let's just say groceries, other commodities. Other things like these will increase in value. We see inflation and what it's done over the past 50 years. Now, what if I were to tell you that in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto created a system that completely annihilates inflation? Inflation is artificially created due to a centralized, in other words, a government running or government owning of the currency. As soon as that happens, it's done. It's done. It's inflation from here on out because they control everything. While let's say the United States holds 20% of the world's gold. So to be honest with you, every single time the United States decides it's going to print money during recession or crises, boom, their value with respect to their own dollar goes up because they hold all this gold. And gold generally goes up because when you throw a bunch of money onto this table, these 2 tables, you got people watching. They're seeing, what the heck? There's a lot more of that. Why wouldn't I want that or that? It's harder to get those. It's hard to get 1 Bitcoin right now. So those are my analogies. You can do your own research, decide what you want. Please do this. Please subscribe. Please smash the like button. I want all of you investors to do as well as you possibly can. So please subscribe to the channel. I come out with weekly videos to help you grow your investment portfolio to the very top and the very highest it can possibly go. So just stay tuned.